In the heart of a bustling metropolis on a frigid evening, as the neon lights battled the dark sky and an icy wind whipped through the crowded streets, an extraordinary story was about to unfold. Before we begin, let us know where you're watching from. And if you love stories that inspire change and hope, please subscribe to Timeless Stories. Every day brings new lessons in resilience and compassion. Avery had dedicated herself to working at an upscale restaurant in the city's center, a place known for its polished decor and discerning clientele. That bitterly cold night, while the din of laughter and clinking glasses filled the grand dining hall, Avery moved with quiet determination behind the counter. Though surrounded by luxury, she always carried a gentle heart and a resolve to help anyone in need. Just as her shift neared its end, the restaurant's heavy doors swung open. In walked a man dressed in a simple black hoodie, worn jeans, and a cap pulled low, his presence unassuming yet dignified. Avery's eyes widened in recognition. It was Keanu Reeves. He made his way to a secluded corner table, his every move exuding a calm that belied the tension in the air. Moments later, one of the servers hesitated before approaching Keanu with a hushed word, then quickly retreated. Avery sensed something was wrong. The uneasy murmur around the table grew louder when Mr. Carson, the restaurant's strict no-nonsense manager, appeared, forcing a fake smile as he addressed the situation. "I'm sorry, sir, but we adhere to a strict reservation-only policy," Mr. Carson said, his tone overly polite, yet bristling with condescension. Keanu replied softly, "I understand. I'll just have something to go." But Mr. Carson's eyes narrowed as he snapped, "This is not an establishment for unannounced guests." Unable to stand by, Avery stepped forward. With a steady voice, she offered Keanu a menu. "What can I get for you?" she asked, her genuine kindness cutting through the room's tension. Keanu's grateful smile said it all. Here was a simple act of decency amid an atmosphere of pretense. Almost immediately, Mr. Carson's face contorted with fury. "That's it! You're fired," he hissed, his words echoing through the now silent dining hall. In that crushing moment, Avery felt the weight of injustice. For the very act of helping a stranger, she had lost the job she had poured her heart into for 2 long years. As stunned whispers rippled among the patrons, Avery's world seemed to crumble. She clutched the menu in trembling hands, feeling both betrayed and defiant. Her eyes met Keanu's, a silent acknowledgement of what had transpired. And without a word, she removed her apron, tossed it onto the counter, and stepped out into the cold night. The city, usually so vibrant and full of promise, now appeared indifferent as Avery wandered alone along empty sidewalks. Every step was heavy with the sting of humiliation and loss. In the cramped confines of her modest apartment, the echoes of the evening replayed relentlessly. With rent due and no safety net in sight, despair threatened to overwhelm her spirit. Then her phone buzzed. A quick message from her dear friend Casey offered a note of comfort. "I heard what happened. Are you okay?" Though Avery's reply was halting and sorrowful, the caring words reminded her that she wasn't entirely alone. In the midst of her dark thoughts, another call came, from an unknown number. With hesitation and hope mingling in her chest, she answered. "Hello?" A calm, reassuring voice greeted her. "Hi, this is Keanu Reeves." Avery's heart pounded. Was it truly him on the other end? His voice was warm and kind. "I just wanted to check on you," he said. "What happened last night?" Gathering her scattered thoughts, Avery admitted, "I lost my job. I was simply trying to help." Keanu's tone turned firm yet compassionate. "Avery, what you did was courageous. In a world that punishes kindness, you've shown the strength it takes to stand up for what's right. Believe me, this setback will lead to something far greater." Before Avery could ask any questions, her phone flashed with a new message. A screenshot of a social media post titled, "Waitress fired for helping Keanu Reeves, an act of kindness punished." The post exploded with support and outrage. Comments poured in from people who demanded justice and praised her for doing the right thing. Avery's heart, though still heavy, began to lift with a spark of hope. Then came another unexpected call. "Pack your bags, Avery. Your life is about to change," said a measured voice. And then the line went silent. The mysterious message left her with equal parts wonder and apprehension. That very morning, as dawn broke over the city, Avery found herself hesitantly packing a small suitcase with a few belongings. Uncertain yet driven by a new sense of possibility, she left her apartment behind. At exactly 9 a.m., a sleek black car arrived to whisk her away. Inside the car, as the cityscape blurred past, Avery's mind raced. Could this be real? The driver, a courteous man in dark sunglasses, greeted her with a respectful, "Miss Avery, please have a seat." His calm demeanor did little to quell her nervous excitement. After a 30-minute drive through unfamiliar streets, the car pulled up to an imposing modern building. Its towering glass facade and grand entrance radiated promise. As Avery stepped out, she was greeted by none other than Keanu Reeves himself, standing amid a welcoming lobby of marble floors, soaring ceilings, and walls adorned with inspiring art. "Avery," he said with a gentle smile, "welcome. We have work to do." Though still reeling from the night before, Avery managed to ask, "What do you mean?" Keanu's eyes sparkled with conviction. "You lost your job not because you did anything wrong, but because you did something extraordinary, standing up for a stranger. That is a quality we need. I lead several projects dedicated to helping those who are powerless in the face of injustice. Today, I'm offering you a new purpose." He led her through the grand lobby into a spacious conference room, where a group of well-dressed, earnest individuals awaited her arrival. Among them was Morgan, a poised woman with platinum blonde hair and piercing eyes who greeted Avery warmly. "We're honored to have you with us." Avery, still in disbelief, managed to whisper, "I'm not sure I understand. How can I help?" Keanu's reply was both simple and profound. "There are countless people out there, workers, parents, students, who are mistreated and silenced. Your act of kindness has made you a symbol of hope. With the resources and connections we have, we can stand up against injustice together." As Avery absorbed the enormity of what was being offered, her phone vibrated again. This time, an unknown number flashed on the screen. With a mix of dread and determination, she answered, only to be met with a cold, menacing voice. "You've made a powerful enemy. You should have stayed in your place." The line went dead, leaving Avery's heart racing with a mixture of fear and resolve. Morgan quickly tapped away on her phone, her brow furrowing as she traced the call. "It appears this threat is coming from someone familiar, a former supervisor of yours," she announced softly. Avery's pulse quickened. Mr. Carson, the manager who had fired her, was behind the call. The realization sent a chill down her spine. Keanu's voice was steady as he addressed the room. "There are forces that thrive on keeping good people powerless. Now that you've shown the strength of compassion, they've taken notice. But today we choose to stand up to them. Avery, you have a choice. Step back or join us and fight for justice. Not just for yourself, but for everyone silenced by injustice." With a deep, steadying breath, Avery's determination crystallized. "I'm not going anywhere. I want to help," she declared. In that moment, her earlier despair transformed into a powerful resolve to be a catalyst for change. Over the following days, Avery's story spread like wildfire. Social media buzzed with headlines proclaiming, "Waitress fired for helping Keanu Reeves," "An ordinary hero fights against workplace injustice." Strangers reached out with stories of similar struggles, and messages of solidarity poured in from every corner of the city. In the expansive new headquarters, Avery attended meetings where Keanu and his team laid out plans to protect workers' rights, expose corrupt practices, and offer legal aid to those who had been wronged. At one long conference table, a determined colleague remarked, "Avery, your courage is not just an act of defiance, it's a beacon for all who have suffered in silence." As plans were put into motion, the threat from Mr. Carson's circle became more apparent. One afternoon, as Avery reviewed documents with Morgan, her phone rang once again with that chilling message. "You've made a powerful enemy, now you're on our radar." The warning underscored the reality that this fight was about more than a single act. It was about challenging a system that exploited the powerless. Keanu addressed the tense room with measured calm. "There will always be those who feel threatened by change," he explained, "but each act of kindness, like Avery's, proves that the truth and the will to do what's right are stronger than any threat." Morgan added, We have a plan to expose the corruption behind Mr. Carson's actions. Together, we will show that those who prey on vulnerability have no place in a fair and just society. The energy in the room shifted, and Avery felt her earlier doubts melt away. No longer was she simply a victim of circumstance. She was now part of a movement dedicated to dismantling injustice. In the weeks that followed, the combined force of passionate individuals began to effect real change. Public protests, media exposés, and online petitions demanded accountability from corrupt managers and institutions. Avery's face, once marked by sorrow, now shone with the pride of someone who had found her voice and the strength to wield it for the greater good. A major news outlet eventually published a damning report on Mr. Carson's abusive practices. The expose, backed by testimonies from former employees and compelling evidence of systematic mistreatment, forced the restaurant's owners to take drastic measures. Mr. Carson was swiftly dismissed, and the establishment began a process of much-needed reform. In a quiet moment at the reformed headquarters, Keanu visited Avery. "How does it feel," he asked softly, "to know that your courage has sparked real change?" Avery gazed out the window at the awakening city, its skyline a tapestry of hope. "It feels like this is only the beginning," she replied, a small but resolute smile emerging. "One act of kindness has not only changed my life, it's ignited a movement." Keanu nodded, his eyes reflecting both pride and resolve. "Remember, Avery, every time we choose compassion over indifference, we remind the world that true strength lies in standing up for what is right. Let your story be a reminder that each of us can make a difference." As twilight descended and the city lights shimmered like stars, Avery's journey stood as a powerful reminder that change is possible when courage meets compassion. Her story, a tale of a simple act of kindness that cost her a job but transformed her life, had resonated with thousands. It taught us that even when systems seem stacked against us, the decision to do what's right can ignite a ripple effect of hope and justice. Today, Avery works alongside Keanu Reeves and a dedicated team, helping workers, students, and families reclaim their power. Her experiences have inspired countless others to speak out against injustice and to stand up for those who are voiceless. Every message of support and every shared story fuels the movement for a fairer, kinder society. If Avery's story has moved you, we invite you to reflect on your own experiences. Share your thoughts and personal acts of kindness in the comments below. Your voice might be the spark that inspires someone else to stand up for what's right. And if you believe in the transformative power of compassion, please subscribe to Timeless Stories. Together, let's continue to spread hope, share inspiring stories, and remind the world that one act of kindness can change lives. Thank you for listening, and remember, the power to create change is in your hands. Step out, stand up, and make a difference today. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Stay inspired, stay courageous, and keep spreading kindness wherever you go.